Hello. My little pop-up said I'm live, so let's hope. If you have chosen to join me, if you could pop a comment in and let me know that you can hear me and see me okay, that would be awesome. Let's see. While I'm giving everybody kind of a minute to find me, I know there's a delay. I know I say that all the time, and I'm sorry, but I want to give everybody a chance to find us and then have you should already have your supplies ready because I posted those on Monday. The clue number 1 had all of your supply list and the cutting measurements and stuff to cut all your supplies. So you should have something prepared. Let's see. I'm trying to watch comments here at the same time because I would like this to be a little bit of an interactive activity. So anyway, I wanted to say thank you because I really appreciate the switch in time this month. I was trying to do these at like 7 in the evening, and I've got a fundraiser that we are participating in this evening, and it's like an hour away. So it starts at 5. So I had to do this earlier. So I appreciate your being willing to swap your time if this is something that you typically try to do with me. Maybe this time works better. If that's the case, let me know in the comments that the 3 o'clock hour works better for you, because maybe we can just change it. I don't really have a reason for putting it at 7 o'clock other than the fact that in the summertime, it's really hard to come in the house when you're outside and come in the house and get all ready for something earlier than 7 for me. So after dinner, I'm usually home and kind of in the house after dinner. But the fundraising event I'm really excited about because my brother-in-law is a recipient of some of the fundraising. There are 3 recipients, and it's all for cancer. And I donated a basket, and the basket has a punch and a retired stamp set in it. But then I also threw in some ink and some paper and some DSP, and I threw in a couple of cards, like all the things to make. I think I put 2 separate cards in there, but then I put in all the supplies that they could recreate, and I'm trying to get people to stamp. So, which is another reason for this mystery stamping. Okay, so rule number 1, of course, is no stress. This is supposed to be fun. Don't stress out. If you find that you're slower and aren't keeping up, don't stress. Set it aside, watch, and then go back and watch the replay later, because it's perfectly fine to do that. So no stress. And your project probably will not look exactly similar to the one that I built the clues on. So don't stress about that either. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. I would like it if you could use the chat feature that to answer or put questions and comments in if you have those. So we'll try to, kind of, you'll chat and I'll talk. How's that? Tell me where you're joining from. And if you're catching the replay, type replay in the comments so that I know that. And I guess that's it. Oh, the recording will be on Facebook for 30 days because it's live. It only lasts on Facebook for 30 days, but I will download it and I'll put it in the playlist called Mystery Stamping on my YouTube channel too. So you can find it there. All right. So are you ready for clue number 2? Well, I guess I should get you to clue number 1 first. So let me make this bigger and me smaller. All right. So this was clue number 1. You should all have everything going. So let me just move on to clue number 2. And this says, emboss your 4 by 5 1/4 basic white piece and then adhere it to the front of your card. I wonder if I did this right. Nope, I didn't. All right, hang on a second. Let me remove this and let me try to share my other screen here a second. I have this up somewhere else. So let's try this window and this and share this. I think I must have had like last month's on there, right? So, nope, that's not it either. Stop. Stop. Let's see, remove this person. Wow, I'm really failing here, aren't I? All right, let's try this again. Stop the screen share. Remove that one. Sorry about this. I had it all set up and I was all ready to go. Window. All right, I need glasses. There it is. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so clue number 2 is to stamp on the inside of your card first. And then adhere it on the inside. So on mine, I have a solid color card base. I believe that's what your clue number 1 instructions told you to have, is some kind of a solid color card base. Maybe yours is white, and that's okay. Then you probably don't need that extra piece of 4 by 5 1/4 white. But so that's the first step. And that's only because if you mess up, you still have time to flip it over and do it again. So I'm giving you a minute here before we move on. I can't remember how many clues there are. But so you're probably just stamping a greeting. Maybe you're stamping an extra little something that came with your stamp set on the inside, in the corner, some little leaves or flowers or something like that. And so then I'm going to move on to clue number 3. I'm not seeing anybody in the chat, but let me know if I'm going too fast. Clue number 3 is cut the DSP into 1/2-inch strips. And so you'll end up with 5 1/2-inch by 6-inch strips. So I think you had a 3 by 6 to start with. So you should have 5, or maybe you'll get the idea. Cut them into 1/2-inch strips the long ways. So 6 inches tall and then 1/2-inch strips. I'm going to try to find my first clue here. I'll keep that separate so I can double check what I'm talking about. All right. And then hopefully I'm not going to go too fast here. So to cut 5 times, I'm thinking you probably had enough time for that. So then you're going to cut or punch 10 banners that will end up being approximately a 1/2 inch by 2 3/4. I used my triple banner punch for this, and I'm just going to show you. Let me swap this back to here a second, make this big. But so I ended up using this bottom one of my, and I don't think that's 2.5 inches, honestly. I need to get a ruler. Maybe it's about, no, it's, call it about 2 inches. So a 1/2 inch. So out of your 1/2 inch strips, you're going to come up with a total of 10. So at least cut them in half, but probably about 2 inches. And then if you're using a punch of some sort, like this banner punch, just punch out 10 of them. Okay. And then if you're just going to use a pair of scissors, or you could rip the tops, that works too. So cut them down to maybe 2.5 inches and then rip about a 1/2 an inch off the tops of them. That'll work. So from each of your 6-inch long strips, you should get at least two pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. This one's a little bit difficult. It was hard to explain. When you see mine, it's going to be really fun to see everybody's version of this. I hope you post them, because it's so fun to see what everybody is. It's hard to do this without a visual at the beginning, which is what makes it fun to begin with. But it's really hard to, when you're on my end, to try to actually explain. This reminds me of one of Payson's Science O activities or competitions. And my son-in-law, Corey, and I were just talking about it over the weekend, where one person has to write the instructions on how to build an object. And then their partner has to come in and actually build the object only by the written instructions. Yeah, this reminds me of that, actually. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of fun. We could do Science Olympiad thing right here. Okay. So you should have 10 pieces that are 1 inch by about 2-ish inches. It doesn't have to be exact. What did I just do here? 5, 4, okay. So clue number 5 then. So you're going to cut the same kind of a banner. This is good. This is going to end up being 1 inch by about, let me measure mine here, by 2 inches, 3 inches, I'm sorry. What did my thing say? DSP. I'm looking to see what my other basic white. Okay, so the 4 inch by 3/4 of an inch is the piece that you're going to make. Actually, if you're gonna, I made it 3/4 in case you're using the punch. If not, you can slice it down to a 1/2 an inch, and that's fine. And then you're going to shorten your ends. So however you choose to shorten them to about 3 inches. So whether you put little notches in the sides or make them like bullet ends, or just do this way, whichever you choose to do. So you're going to do that on your basic white, and then you're going to stamp your outside greeting for your outside of your card on this with your coordinating ink. So the 1/2 inch by about, it's going to end up being about a 1/2 an inch by about 3 inches. I'm still looking at my instructions to see what else I maybe. All right, I'm going to move on to clue number 6. So depending on what you did with your ends of your white piece, it doesn't matter. Okay, so you're going to take your white greeting that you just did, and you're going to gently lay it on the center of the front of your card. And then you're going to kind of put some light pencil marks along the long sides of the banner. This is just to mark your place of how wide it is. Tall, I guess, is a better term. So that you should have like pencil marks that are about a 1/2 inch apart. That's not a very long process. So we're going to move on. Number 7. So now that you've made your marks with your greeting on your card front, now take your greeting, your white greeting piece, and you're gonna like hold it against your colored cardstock that I said should be 3 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and you're going to use the ends of your greeting to cut the same ends on your colored cardstock. You're going to use this as a match, so I hope that makes sense, so that your ends are going to match and line up nicely. On mine, because I just used the banner punch, I just, held my white piece up to my colored piece, and then I snipped using the guide of my my greeting to, so that the angles were the same. I guess that's what I'm getting at. All right, clue number 8. So you're going to set that aside for now. Did I say to glue it together? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I backed up one. And I forgot to put this back on here. I'm sorry. So this was holding it up and trimming your ends to match what your greeting is, and then adhering your white to your colored cardstock, so that now you have your greeting matted. That's it. All right. And then clue number, oh, this one says 7 again. Faux pas. This should be clue number 8, but the next one is adhere your DSP strips. So the designer series paper that you originally cut into 1/2 inch strips, and then you cut them into about 3 inch lengths and whatever you did to the tops of those. You're going to align those with the straight edge, not your ripped or your banner end or whatever you did to one end of those. You're going to put the straight edge kind of along the pencil marks that you made, and you've got a little bit of wiggle room. You've got that 1/2 inch in between where your 2 pencil marks go, right? So you can put one like right on the line, and then the next one you can put a little bit down. They don't have to be the same height. And you're going to repeat that kind of like a reflection on the bottom line on the bottom side. Now, what I did with mine is because it's DSP, I used one side and then I flipped over and used the B side for the next one, and then A side, and then B side, and then A side. So you should have 5 total across the top and then 5 total across the bottom. And mine looks like a reflection. Yours doesn't have to. I hope you're finding this fun and not so stressful. Don't stress. This is a hard one, actually. When I wrote it, I knew it was going to be hard. I even almost scrapped it and decided and thought I should do an easier one. But hey, it'll be just fine. What do some of my ladies, when they come to card class, some of them say, "Oh, I'll just send that one to somebody I don't like." If you like them enough to send them a card, you must like them some, right? It's always humorous at card class. I'm going to give you a couple extra seconds on this one because I know that you're adhering all 10 of these down. So I like to dry fit them first and then go back and adhere them. So I'm going to give you a few more minutes with that. Speaking of card class, if you've got my email, you can already sign up for the March class. And if you are still interested in coming to the February class, there is some availability. Check with me and I'll let you know. But there is some availability still for the February class if you want to get in on that one. Okay, let's move along. Again, my numbers are off, so this should be 9. So now you're going to adhere the greeting that's already matted across. You're going to adhere it with dimensionals across your jaggedy lines that come like this, right? So you're going to just put that right across the middle to hide all the pencil marks and everything. If you had ribbon as an embellishment and you want to stick that on behind your greeting before you do that, go ahead and do that first too. Or if you're tying it around, that's fine. And then just embellish it. I think that's it. So if you use ribbon, I mean, sometimes when I use ribbon, that's embellishment enough. I usually only use like either ribbon or like little bling dots. You know, there's so many different names. It's hard to know in general what to call them other than embellishments. But like some of those self-adhesive little dots they have. So anyway, let's see. So your last step then is to take a photo and post it to the comment in the video. I'm going to add a copy of this link. I'm going to post it as a comment in here so that you can add it to that. And after the video is done, I'll also add it separately as a comment to the video. And on YouTube, I'll put it in the description. I may not be able to put it on YouTube until tomorrow, though, because we're going to fly out of here to that fundraiser as soon as I get done here. So do you want to see mine? Let's take this down. So you want to see what I did with mine? All right. You sure? Here it is. So you can see, I'm holding it crooked because everything's backwards. So you can see that I've got A side, B side, A side, B side, A side. And then my pencil marks went across here, right? So I put them on like this. And then can you see there's dimensionals under there? I'm kind of watching, watching myself instead of looking into the camera because I have to see what I'm showing you. And then I just did a few little dots on mine. And then the inside just says happy birthday. So those of you participating, that's a sneak peek for one of the February cards too. And I'm going to have you actually use the 3-banner punch, and you'll get all the supplies for that. Okay. I think we're finished. So thank you everyone for joining me, and I can't wait to see what you post. All right. I guess we're done. Thanks again. Have a good one.